let me introduce our speaker. This is Petri from Luti, who won the company won the unofficial award for
the strangest company name, for the most awkward, difficult to pronounce, I think.
I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thank you. Hey, thank you everybody. Very happy to be live again. Please raise your hand, and also at home if you're happy to be live again in a live event. I am. At least I am. Yes, so welcome. Thank you for the introduction, and you were already advised to take your mobile phone, so please can you show them to me that you have a mobile phone, because I'm going to ask a favor. The favor is that please go into this address, luti.in/etl2021. What I'm asking you to do is to help me to make this keynote better the next time. So just type in your email address and you will get an email from me where you can give a live feedback immediately after the keynote is done. And yes, I'm super happy to be live, and please, people in the cafeteria, you can still join. We have a lot of seats, at least five left for you guys as well. I think it's the first time in 20 months that I'm speaking in a live event, and that's why I saved all my slides from almost 20 months. So there's 48 slides coming. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Great. So let's start with the question about, or who is the guy? Who is Petri Hollmén? A nice pronunciation, by the way. Petri Hollmén. I'm the founder of Luti, which last night we won the unofficial award for the most complex company name in the Event Tech Live. So actually you pronounce it as Luti, but it's difficult. And if you want to talk more about that, visit our stand and we'll tell the story. It's actually a women's name, a Finnish women's name. But I'm the founder of Luti, which is a originally Finnish-based. Now we operate in the Nordics and in Paris and Stockholm. Event management company, event management software company, and now also event success management company. You could say that I'm the event dude of Finland. I've been awarded as the most influential event person in the event industry in Finland 2 years ago. And I'm also very proud about that our company is the first company in 50 years in Finland to be awarded with the National Entrepreneur Award in Finland. So we are kind of like waving the event industry flag in Finland. So I'm an entrepreneur. I've been in the events since I was 20 years, which is almost 5 years today. No, over 20 years today. First about 13 years making events, producing events, organizing events. I love weddings, my favorite events. And ever since I changed into the software business, that was 14 years ago when I founded Luti. But I'm going to not to speak about that much about technology today. Actually, I'm going to tell a story about my hero, because when I was a young boy, this guy was my hero. And because we have too many very difficult names in Finland, I make it easier. The real name is Jooseppi Lappalainen. You can try to say it loud, Jooseppi Lappalainen, very easy. But let's call him Joseph to make it more simple. He's my grandfather, one of my heroes. And I want to start my keynote about telling about this very extraordinary man. He's, as you can see from the picture, he's a sailor, he's a seaman. He used to sail the oceans, the world seas with this huge sailing ship called Finnish Swan. And he traveled around the world with this. He was a true globetrotter. He visited places like Greece, Syria, Portugal, Brazil. He sailed around the Cape Horn. And because we are now in UK, I have to mention that he also visited with this ship the coronation of the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth back in the May 12th in 37 in London. So he traveled the world on those times when crossing the ocean wasn't just like 2 hour, 4 hour, 6 hour flight. It took months. He spent 3 years on that ship. And he was mentally and physically very, very strong man, very strong person. I remember when, as a young boy, really admiring his trophy case. A lot of different kind of trophies from different sports. More awards than we won yesterday. A lot more. And but what happens to all of us? We all get old. And of course, he, after sailing the boat, that ship around the world, he went to the work for the Finnish Navy and got a family and children and grandchildren and all of that. And he became a very important person for me. He got old, but I would say that in a very stylish way. So here on the left side, he's about 80 years old and still driving a car like a maniac. I remember that. The next picture, I'm there on the right corner. He's just turned 90 years old, and my big hero, the very strong, physically strong, mentally strong person, really started to deteriorate and need help from others, and I spent quite a lot of time with him during the last months. He died 3 months after this picture, and we spoke a lot about his life and all those amazing experiences and travels that he had. And the one thing that we both regretted during those months was the time. The time that we didn't have more time together at the end. I mean, I was a student studying a lot, and you know, when you lose something, that's the point when you understand the value of it. And this story came to my mind when I was thinking about this event, trade fair or event industry. And I don't claim that I'm Steve Jobs, but we have something in common with Steve Jobs. And I'm telling this story because we, as an event industry, we represent an industry that really runs on time. It's our raw material, but not time of the organizers. It's the time of the participants. And why I'm saying this at the trade fair event, event technology trade fair event, is that Steve Jobs once counted that if they're able to save 10 seconds of people's time every single time you open your laptop, and you multiply that with hundreds of millions of Mac users, every single year you save worth about 10 lifetimes, only with that 10 seconds. What I was thinking when I was reading this Steve Jobs quote was that taking that into our business, now that's the familiarity with Mr. Jobs, we only in our platform, people create 80,000 events every single year. On average, based on our data, it's 52 participants in every single event, and they spend approximately 2 hours in each event. So we are a small Nordic-based company, but we enable our customers to spend 8,320,000 hours every single year. It's 950 years annually. So it's a huge amount of time. And like I already said, time is our fuel. We burn time like cars burn fuel. And our impact on participants' life, it's a huge on individual level, on a short term and in the long term as well. This event, I don't know, the official number was 3,500 attendees. I think the majority are online, but I calculated that during this event, we spent 4 years of non-renewable material, which is time, only that in this one event. And the question is that, is it really used in the most efficient manner? Is it used responsibly? Are we now in this very modern, eco-friendly electric car, or are we now in this event, in this fuel-consuming old dinosaur car, as they call them? And how do we know it? Do we know it? I like comparing cars with events. First of all, car industry, it's way older. It's way older. Sorry, event industry is way older than car industry. Events, we've been organizing them hundreds and thousands of years actually. Events has been always there. Cars has been there around 100 years. But for some reason, we still, in the event industry, we still keep inventing the wheel all over again in every single event. In the car industry, it's based on continuous improvement. We lack many of the principles and routines that are in place in different industries. There's just-in-times, Kaizens, you name it, different kind of frameworks to make sure that we get better every single time. In the event industry, we don't have any framework. And that was a huge, huge surprise to me when I started to look at this, our industry from this point of view. All right, let's take an example. Let's take a new car workshop made the event industry way. And now I'm not talking about launching a totally new brand of cars, a line of cars, or model of cars. I'm talking about producing one single piece of automobile. If that would be done the way we produce events, what would that look like? Okay, there's the workshop starts. The first question is tires. Should this car have tires? This specific car. Should it have tires? Well, maybe. Next question, steering wheel. Yeah, maybe we should try a car without one this time. We don't know if it works, if it's better, if not. Let's try without. Doors. Are they actually the best method to get into the car? Should we just leave them out or invent another way? Or what could be the theme color of this specific car? Should it have multiple colors maybe? And the most important question, will the CEO of the customer enjoy the car? That's, by the way, the CEO of Toyota. But there's differences, but there's also similarities between these two businesses. Sustainability is a big theme in both industries. It's a really hot topic. In the car industry, the big decision is what kind of power do we use? Do we use electric engine, or do we burn fuel, or do we use gas, or what? That has a huge impact on the sustainability of the car industry. I have to say that in event industry, we speak about plastic straws and using local food. We speak about little minor details. We don't speak about the truth of sustainability in events. These don't have any true impact. But what is then truly a sustainable event? It's an event that really creates value for the participants, for the time that they invest in that event. That is truly sustainable, because we could be somewhere else right now doing something else, good for our families, good for our business, but we're using time at this event. Is it sustainable? The problem is that we don't know at the very moment. We don't know if we're with this event driving this modern car or just burning some fuel. Are we creating value? And it's our duty as industry leaders, as actors in this event industry, it's our duty to fix it. One problem, what I also see in the event and event industry, is the scope. When you use the word event, you always think about big and fancy, something where you dance and eat and you have tags and booths. So we think in auto manufacturing terms, we speak only about these big touring buses, luxury buses. But car industry is so much more. It's camper vans, it's trucks, it's personal cars, all of that. So we have to broaden our scope also in the event industry. We have to understand that event means every single event where we spend people's time, where we spend participants' time. It doesn't matter if it's big or small, if it's a fancy or very everyday event, but if it's facilitated, if it requires that somebody spends time on that event, then it's an event. If we keep our scope like that, the impact that we can create is minimal compared to the truth. And I think the COVID was one great example when kind of like physical events disappeared. Everybody saw in their calendars that we have a huge amount of events because you needed to schedule it. You needed to book somebody's time in order to have the encounter. There's a huge amount of internal events, for example. So, what the heck is that guy talking about? We're still in a technology event. And to be honest, I'm not talking about technology, because technology does nothing. It actually does harm or wrong things if we decide so. I'm talking about event success management. And it actually doesn't have anything to do with technology. It's not rocket science, it's very simple. It's just a methodology that you have to implement. It's based on a simple theory of event cycle. There's 5 steps. And I think we are pretty good in organizing. We're pretty good in number 2. We're quite all right in planning, but we lack a lot from measuring, analyzing, and also sharing. Think about, for example, a pilot in an airplane. If they don't share their mistakes with everybody in the industry, the safety doesn't go up in every single airplane. It stays only in somebody's head, the key learnings. So we are good in planning and organizing, but let's take a question. Who is happy, for example, with your post-event surveys? Response rate and data that you got out from them. I see only heads going like that. Who's to blame? There is a mirror. Why don't we have an agile methodology in our industry to develop every single event? There's nobody else to blame than me and you and you and those guys who are not even interested about the topic. So, there's a lot of reasons, but we are there in the center of this one. But good thing is that with the event success management, there's also a growing community. So you're not anymore alone with this problem. There's a lot of people talking about it and sharing key learnings. And I also encourage you all to join after this keynote. And I want to emphasize that the methodology that I'm talking about, it's not something that you have to execute for months or years in order to actually master that and actually gain results. You will get immediate results. We've been implementing this methodology in our internal events for almost 1.5 years, a year now, and we can see amazing results what comes to participant experience and the value that the participants get from our internal events, for example. And the key in the core of event success management is the participant experience. And when I speak about participant experience, I don't mean all those fancy colors and how does a food taste or all of that. It, of course, adds value. But participant experience is something that only the participant can tell. Was it value for my time? What we understood also, that we don't have a unified metric to actually measure that. I mentioned the post-event surveys. I did a short survey about those, and I found over 200 KPIs that the industry professionals are using in order to measure the event success. How good was that? Over 200. We came up with one, the experience value score. It's super simple. It's a question from the participant, was the event worth your time? And you answer with 5 options, and then you give open feedback. And like I said, there's 80,000 events on our platform. We have about 1,500 customers, depending on how do you count that. We see that it's highly used. 75% of the events use already that one. And the response rate is close to 35 globally. So we get amazing amount of excellent data about how much do we provide value for the customers as an industry as well. And the first time I was able to see that finally I have a benchmark, so I can look out of my bubble. I can look how well I'm doing events inside my company, how well I'm performing, but I can also benchmark towards other organizations. There's an event, we got an EVS 80. You can also compare between in-person, online, and hybrid events. So you can see how customers, participants perceive the value from those. This is a big question. Should we do it live? Should we do it online? Or should we do it hybrid? And I think we can't answer it, that we have to ask the participants. You have to try. So first, organize one online, measure, analyze, and share. Then try hybrid, and then do the same. Then try digital live. And when you see the results, then you have the right answer. Yes, this kind of event works best as a hybrid event or live event. But it's not us to choose, it's the participant. What I'm repeating here is that the time is the only non-renewable resource that we have in the world. We can come up with solutions to make the cars work with other sources of power than diesel, but we can't replace time. So, my message is that we have all the tools already that we need. If you go around this trade fair, you can see huge amount of tools. Most of them are to save time of the organizer. We should change the focus that we create value for the participants' time. Now we have also the methodology in place. We have the people who are interested and really eager to develop that, so we have a chance to make the change. And this is last question. Are you in? Does this make sense? Raise your hand if it makes sense. Almost everybody. That's nice. I want to end my keynote. First of all, I want to invite everybody to talk more about this topic at our booth or digitally. Also, you can join. But we have launched on Monday the first free Event Success Management certification course. You can find it from eventsuccessmanagement.com. Our beloved Janina will take you through in 6 videos through the methodology, and you'll learn the basics so you can start executing that. And we're also hiring the first ever Event Success Manager, because we want a person who really implements this into our business, but also helps our customers to continuously develop the value that their participants get. So go and check that one. And now we have time for the questions and answers.
Oh, hello. There we are. Thank you, Petri, so much for that. As I said, we're not going to hand the microphone round, so if you want to ask a question, go to glsr.live/ETL21 to ask questions. I've got one for you.
Or just yell.
Yeah. So I've got one for you. I found the benchmarking particularly interesting. Have you broken it down into types of events, as in like industry as well?
Not yet, but we're bringing kind of like categorizing of different events, so you can really go down into the details, and that is really, really interesting.
Yeah. So there isn't a question, but there's a comment here. Event Dude of Finland. That's great. You need a T-shirt with it on. Do you have one already?
So, do I have what?
A T-shirt with Event Dude of Finland on it.
No, not yet.
They're suggesting you should.
We should have. Marketing, please. We will
it.
have in half an hour.
Great. I also really liked what you were talking about, those moments in time, and it's a theme that I've seen over the last couple of days, and I'm sure the viewers at home have seen that as well, is that this idea of events being moments in time, networking with peers, moments in time that are synchronized,
Yeah.
And I think that's a great topic.
Yeah, thank you. I agree, and I think that when I founded this company, the mission was to save time of the organizers. Mm-hmm. That was the mission, to make their life easier. And I think we have reached that level already. There's no way, there's no kind of like idea to invest in that anymore. because we're very good in that.
Yeah.
I mean, all the tools here are very good
That's
in
true.
that. So we have to really emphasize the time of the participants. Do they get the value?
Yeah. So where is your booth?
Our booth is number 1209,
1209. Okay, good.
behind the C-Event, who has, by the way, ridiculously big booth.
Okay, okay. Well, hopefully they can find you. Luti.
Exactly.
Yeah. And actually, I've seen in the bags on the seats, there's some brilliant stickers in there, and there's a whole lot more information about what you've just been talking about as well. So have a good look at that. I think that wraps it up, unless you want to add anything else.
No, welcome to our booth, and also online, go and check the link, eventsuccessmanagement.com, and you will find a lot more information.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Petri. Give it up for Petri.
Thank you.